A story all over the headlines this morning, offensive and harmful. That is how the CEO of Google is describing an anti-diversity memo written by one of Google's male employees. Now the engineer behind the manifesto, which claims women are less suited for tech jobs than men. Why? Because they're women. Biologically, they can't do it. Well, that engineer tells the Wall Street Journal he has been fired. CNN senior technology correspondent Laurie Segall is here. Laurie, you've seen the memo. You've got a lot of reporting on this. The CEO comes back from vacation.
Yeah, big deal. He sent out this memo last night to all Google employees saying that this was harmful. And he said, I'm coming back from vacation to deal with this. We're going to have a town hall because obviously a conversation needs to happen about inclusiveness. And I have a bit of that I want to read you. He said, our job is to build great products for users that make a difference in their lives. And to suggest a group of our colleagues have traits that make them less biologically suited to that work is offensive and not okay. And what Sundar said is he said that this was in violation. Parts of the memo, not all of the memo, but parts were in violation of Google's code of conduct. Now, speaking to sources inside Google, you can read between the lines. They'll tell you if you're in violation of the code of conduct. Generally, that means you're fired. So it doesn't surprise me that he's confirmed with the Wall Street Journal that that he was fired.
Now, some of the women that worked around him, and I would assume some of the men too, but said that they feel uncomfortable working around him, this male engineer, after they knew that he wrote this memo. That's an issue, obviously. So is just the broader context here of what's been going on in Silicon Valley.
Absolutely. And in the memo, he also said he didn't want women to feel, worried that they would be perceived as neurotic if they speak up at a meeting, or they needed to be agreeable. We've heard this before, Poppy. But,
yes.
You look
not here, though. I have to say, in a decade.
But in general, we hear this. And I want to throw up some stats before we go, because they're important to look at.
Yeah.
The women at Google, overall, 31% women at Google, only a quarter of those leadership positions filled by women. And tech jobs, and this is noteworthy, only 20% women. And then you look at ethnicity at Google, 53% white, 39% Asian. So, this is a problem at Google. This is a problem at so many different tech companies. This is just a story that's putting it out there and shedding light on it.
And they're not alone in some of these numbers. They're working really hard to get them up, but until you have some sort of parity, it's really hard to get an equilibrium there.
And conversations like this, always important.
Thank you for covering
Thank
it.
you.
As always, Laurie, good to have you. Much more of Laurie's reporting. She broke the news. Shocker. CNNMoney.com.